She is my 1998 Daihatsu Atrai Classic Kei van. Ever since I've got her, I have had so many people want to know all the little details about her. So that's what this video is about. I'm going to cover everything from the engine to the interior to the storage, all that stuff. I'll have chapters, so if you want to skip ahead to any of those things, you can find that now or anytime throughout the video. But if you just want to watch more of me the whole time and you want to stick with me the whole time, well then, you stop it. You stop it. No, you stop it.
I love you.
No,
more.
I love you
no,
more.
I love you.
We'll do this together. Now, the first thing you notice with this is the front end. The front end is slightly different than a lot of other Kei vans, and that's because this is the classic version. On the other Daihatsu Atrai, even the 1998 Daihatsu Atrai, it has a different front end. And so when they did the classic version, what they did was a few different touches. One of them is this grille right here. Now this grille is modeled after 1968 Daimler limo. So if you want to go back, you could Google 1968 Daimler limo and you're gonna see this exact same grille. So they brought some cool old classic elements to this van that is from 1998. In fact, I've had a lot of people stop me and go, how old is your van? And I tell them it's a 1998 and they always go, oh, it looks a lot older than that. And that's because it does have this classic grille. Now down here, this is your blinkers. These are running lights at night. Different things like that give it just this really, really cool classic look. One of the things that's great about the van are these little chrome touches that go along with this classic theme. So you have them on the bumper, on the back, all these things just continue to add to kind of, you could say, almost say the cuteness of this van. But what I will say is, aside from the front and those little touches, the van is very similar as far as the body of it to the other vans from around this time. One of the other things I love about the van is these blinker indicators that are on the side of it. They give me just a little bit more safety, letting people on the side know that I'm changing lanes. These vans aren't necessarily the safest. The metal is thin, there aren't airbags. So I'm happy that I'm a motorcycle rider because I employ kind of the same rules that I employ when I'm on my motorcycle while I'm driving this. Not a lot of lane changing, you know, don't follow too close, all of those things. But any little thing I can do to have a little more safety, I appreciate. And so I really like these indicators that are on the side of this van. It does have a full slider door on each side of it, along with obviously driver passenger doors and your rear hatch. So when all the seats are folded down, something we'll get to next, you'll see it is very easy to get stuff in and out of this van. It's honestly one of the greatest features is how functional this van is and how easy it is to do just about anything that you want. Now these little bits of surface rust, I'm gonna be able to sand these down and clear it, and then I'll probably just get a matching paint or I'll just go to a paint shop. It's relatively inexpensive to get these things touched up because the paint isn't that expensive. And so I could just get these little areas touched up for a few $100 and this van will be absolutely perfect. Now the wheels and tires on this are not that big. The rim itself is 12 inches and the tires obviously are really small too. Now the one thing that's really unique and does make it kind of a challenge, if you do want to get a little bit bigger of a tire or wheel for this Daihatsu Atrai, there's one small problem. Let's say you want to go to a 13-inch rim. Well, where you have your lugs, where you have your bolts, the pattern of this is 4x110. A lot of common patterns are 4x100, but this one here is 4x110. And so your best bet on getting a new wheel is to find something like this that has multiple patterns in it. Now, when we take a look inside, what you see is wood grain. Why? Because it's the Atrai Classic. Yeah, that's one of the fun little things that they did in this model to upgrade it. The van has this wood grain look and these little white gauges, which kind of give it a racy feel. The van does have power steering, and it also has power windows. One of the other things I love is being able to open the doors and unlock them. You really only need to undo the driver's side, because once you do this, it locks and unlocks the entire van. One of the things that's amazing about this Daihatsu Atrai Classic is the four-wheel drive. It works amazing, but you do that by pressing this button here while the van's in park, and you will automatically be put into 4 high when you put it back in drive. Now, you can also put it in 4 low by moving to the L here. And so that's if you need to crawl over things or maybe go downhill. You could do that. You turn off the four-wheel drive by putting it back in park and then unclicking the button. But the four-wheel drive really is that simple. Now, moving on to the other buttons, what we have right here is we have your defroster, you have your rear windshield wipers. This is the rear windshield wiper washer. So that's where the fluid comes out. It comes out from the top, and then this here. So I was confused for quite a while about what this button does. Now, come to find out, when you press this button, what it does is it gives you heat to the back. So there is a heater under the back, and so when you push this button, it turns on a fan that pumps hot air into the back of the van, so your passengers in the back can get warm when it's cold outside. The van does have air conditioning that works absolutely amazing. You have your AC, you have your Econ, so you don't always have to go full blast. The Econ works just fine. Now, I did go ahead and install a radio in here because I wanted wireless CarPlay. And so all you have to do in this model in particular is look for a double DIN radio, because this hole here is perfect for a double DIN radio. A lot of times they do take the radios out of these when they are shipping them. One thing that's really helpful is if the brackets are still in the car for the radio, because then you don't have to make them. But honestly, if you have to make new brackets for this, it's really not a big deal. But I would say that putting a new radio in that has something like CarPlay is an amazing upgrade to the van. It's one of those little things that you can do that goes a long way and kind of gives you that feeling like you're in a modern car. Because now I'm able to take phone calls because I have the little microphone and I'm able to like speak into that. I hear people just fine through the radio system. Now, some of the other features of the van is this little section right here. In a lot of the Kei vans, you don't have like these little features, like a little cubby for different things right here. And it has this kind of little felt lining so things don't rattle around. And you have cup holders here. Now, the cup holders, they're not that big. They are big enough for, I would say, a standard Coke or something like that. So they're kind of like a soda can size. Now, this little spot right here, I use for my sunglasses because I think the owner before did the same thing. I don't know if he put pins here or sunglasses, but he added that little clip, which is perfect for holding my sunglasses. The liner matches the seat. It's the only seat that really doesn't have it in this van in particular is the driver's seat. And I think because as clean as this van is, I do think that this was a van that was driven by probably one person. They didn't have maybe a family or anybody that would destroy the other seats. And so this seat got worn out, and before they sold it, they replaced this seat. But other than that, all the other seats have this great little kind of like blue plaid that matches everything else. One of the things I would say for myself that makes the vans better than the trucks for someone who is going to daily drive it is this one feature, as I hold up 2 fingers. But this one feature alone makes it better. It's more comfortable because, like I was saying, being 6 foot tall, I can adjust the seat. If I'm smaller, I can move the seat forward, Or I can move it all the way back. I just press a lever down here, I lift up the lever, and I'm able to adjust the seat forward and backwards. I'm also able to do something that you can't do in the truck, which is I pull this lever on the side and I can recline the seat. I can actually recline the seat completely flat. So all around, this is a more comfortable vehicle for daily driving. One of the questions I get asked the most is, how do you fit
that guy in a little coat
inside that van? Because I'm 6 foot tall. And I could say, really easy, because the amount of headroom in here, I have about a foot of space above my head. That's why I added this surfboard rack right here. I own a surfboard company, so I always have surfboards with me. And so I figured in here, I could put this rack above my head, and even if the board is directly above my head, I still have about 4 inches above my head. Now, I have some friends who are about 7 foot tall, 6'10", all this, and they fit inside this van just fine. So the van surprisingly has a lot more headroom than you could ever imagine. Okay, so what about the back seat? How much room does it have? Once again, I have a ton of space above my head. Now this seat is, like I showed before, since these seats, they can kind of recline, they can be scooted back, scooted forward. This seat is right where I want it, being 6 foot tall. Now, in the back, you could have another 6 foot tall person right behind you with a ton of room. And like I showed you, I have a surfboard up here, and I have a ton of space inside this van. Yes, the van's comfortable. Yes, the van is good looking. All that's great. But as far as it being practical and the amount of storage you have in this van, you have so much storage. You know, like I said, I could put a surfboard above me, but you have anywhere from the little cubby that is above the glove compartment to the glove compartment to all the room in the back. Now, even with the seats up, I would say that there's about 3 feet of storage behind the seats. So you have a ton of space, even when the seats are up. But one of the great things about this van is how these seats go completely flat. You can either put one down. There's a lot of different options to customize the storage in this van.
That's pretty cool, I guess.
Now, with the back seats folded completely flat, you can fit a ton of stuff back here. I've had just about 10 surfboards in here, including the one up here, and I just kind of stacked them sideways. Or with all the different configurations you can do with the seats, we put longboards on this side, and my wife, she's just ridden behind me. So I guess until I get a rack for the roof, you know, that's the way that'll work when she wants to take her longboard to the beach. But the great thing is we can also go camping because it has a little bit more than 6 feet of space in here. So I can go and get a foam mattress, and my wife and I could both sleep right here. So now we basically have a little RV. If you want the seats to be completely flat, the first thing that you'll do is you'll take the headrest off. You can store the headrest right under the seat right here. The next thing you'll do is there's this little knob right here. Just simply lift that up, lay the seat down, and then right here you have a little lever that you'll flip up. Okay, so let's talk nuts and bolts. Let's get to the thing that you really want to know when you're buying one of these vans. Nobody buys them because they're cool looking. Everybody buys them for the power. Well, not really. But I will say this, surprisingly, this Daihatsu Atrai Kei van has a lot more power than I imagined it would. And the reason why is because the engine model of this one is actually kind of a sought after one when people are getting these Daihatsu motors. In this one, it is a EF-RS. Now that motor gives you a little bit more top end speed. That's why I'm able to cruise comfortably at 60 or 65 miles an hour, because that engine gives it a little bit of boost. Now, the engine is located right under the front seats. Now, what's slightly different about this chassis than some of the other Kei vans and some of the other Daihatsu Atrais in the past and things like that is this chassis is an S130V. So in a lot of the other ones, you'll see S100, S120, but the 130, what they did different was instead of having the leaf springs, what they did was they did coil springs in the back to give it a slightly different ride. Now, I hope this video has helped you answer any questions you might have about this van. If you have any more, leave them in the comments below. I can truly say that this is one of the greatest purchases I've ever made. I've had a blast with it. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Have a good one.